There are two things that I really love doing. There are more things I love doing than that, but there are two things that I really love doing. The most favorite thing, number one, is when probably because of my pain, but obviously not just because of that, but, and maybe you guys feel the same too. My favorite time is when the whole day is done, and then I go lie back in my bed, and there I talk to God or I think about God until I pass out. It's so much easier for a person like me who has a lot of abdominal pain, a lot of leg pain and stuff like that to take a load off the back and feel better at the end of the night. You're not stuck with all those things of the day. My second favorite thing to do, is to talk about God on here and to talk about things at the end. And of late, those are the things that I've been talking about because, well, let me just say it this way. I'm going to play you a video in a second. You're going to want to hear this, but to those people to those who know that we're at the end, you see the signs of Daniel and Revelation as they're inextricably linked. We're each different in the body, right? We each do different things. But I can't, I don't know why people who see the end and they see the signs of the end, I mean the very end, like in the book of Revelation, where you can see, for instance, and we're waiting for this to play out and to see if this amounts to anything, of which I believe it will. So to those who are like, no, America is not in Bible prophecy, and Elon Musk and Donald Trump are not the beasts of Revelation, the false prophet and the Antichrist, which are the two beasts. I don't know really how I want to say that. I have a feeling of a nail in the stomach again. It probably will get better today, but forgive me for my thoughts going off. I don't understand if these kings, 10 leaders. So I saw more of what Trump wrote in the peace plan. I looked it over. And he's appointing 10 leaders. And we still have to see what comes of this. Is he going to make it 11? Is he going to make it 12? I don't think so. And like I said in another video, I believe with all my heart that they know the book of Revelation very well. Why wouldn't they? Someone asked me in a comment, and I read this comment the other day. These types of videos, I do read the comments. They said, where's that video of Donald Trump? I believe it was a border. It took place in the White House, and I could see about 2 men behind him. So there were 3, and in the picture there may have been 4 total. They're wearing little square pins, so I know, I'm not, the things I see, I know I see. Trump is speaking as he regularly does. He's not sitting down in the Oval Office, but it's one of those rooms where they do, maybe it's in the hallways of the White House, I don't know. But he's wearing a Freemasonry pin, right outright. I should have taken a screenshot when I saw it. And so the guy behind him, he had hair like kind of slicked back. I know that much. He had, because I have like a photographic memory. He had slick back hair, and he was wearing a suit, of course. But I'm positive he was talking about the border. Pardon me a second. I have a lot to say. That I don't understand that those who see these things and they understand that it is the very last, I guess just in my own heart, I don't understand. Though they see them and they make videos about God, they're not saying anything about it. I suppose I don't understand that. Are you afraid of being persecuted by others? And like I said, I guess not everyone has to do that, right? This is about Jesus. This whole thing is about Jesus and how he's going to destroy the evil from the earth. It's going to be extinguished in a flame of fire. Pardon me. I just don't understand. If you see it and you make videos, why aren't you talking about it? You know, tell people, like, I suppose I shouldn't judge that way. But what would the biblical figures from our past say? You're not speaking, you see the end, and you're not saying it. So, no, I'm not trying to judge you guys. It's just like, you know, I believe by telling people and showing the things that I've been saying to you, that it may lead, you know, there's all different levels of how people are saved, right? How it said, you know, Paul says, some saved through fear. And so does, I think, Jude or James. I believe it's Jude. Saved through fear. Everyone is not saved in the same way. It's really funny. It's all a lot of different open doors. Okay, let's take a look at this. My stomach. If there's noises that starts up, they're doing work in, I don't know, throughout the building, and when they drill, it goes everywhere. So if that goes, just let it be. Now, this is interesting. And I knew to look out for this. And I said it immediately. This was about, what was it, 6 months ago. So you had, okay, and I said in my last video, I said it to you exactly. I said, the order that I had not seen. Go back and look at my description boxes. I wrote down the order. You know, the first thing that happens is he gets his mortal head wound. Then the second is, you know, anyways, it goes to the campaign of Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Doge. And they're all cheering for them. I am Dark MAGA. And he makes everyone worship the first beast. On that stage, you can see it happen. He's wearing all black. I am Dark MAGA. ChurchofSatan.com. Hierarchy, they're the #1 priests. 33rd degree Freemasonry. That's what it says. That's what MAGA is. If you have trouble believing this stuff, you're going to have trouble in total believing what's going to happen in the end. So, and the world wondered after the beast. So Elon Musk is going, "Roar," right? And he's like, he's got the whole crowd going up like a false prophet would. 230 million followers. And he's making you worship the first beast. It happened. The head wound happened and that happened. I'm sorry. And he makes fire come down from heaven in the sight of men, in the sight of the beast. All those three came together in very, very short succession. It's not those other theories of Rome and all those, although some of those fit, it isn't. And you're like, well, what do you know? And then you start hearing about the 10 kings, like what looks to be amounting to it. And so I ask you the question, if that fulfillment is happening, and you see the covenant with many happening, where do you think we are? And this is where people get caught up, and it's unfortunate. And it really does take, you know, I'm just thankful to God for what God has shown me. That's it. I don't want to amount myself to anything, but I want to show you and tell you, have a little faith that these things are true and they match it perfectly. If they match them perfectly, and God told us to look out for those things, that look exactly like that, someone's going to come out and say, well, that's the strong delusion. The strong delusion is the other way. I believe the strong delusion is the belief that Donald Trump is good. He's leading a lot of people to hell. So, pardon me. There may be something more in that strong delusion, like what we see with 3i Atlas. Or in December, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't live my life that way. I can't live my life that way. What may come, let it come. Pardon me. I'm going to play you a video. So he made everyone worship the first beast whose mortal head was healed. Right? And the world wondered after him. The whole world wondered after him. All you have to do is go on Google, type up how much more views, searches for Donald Trump versus, 6 months before, a year before. But he's the most searched man on earth, know that. So when suddenly Elon Musk has this black eye, kicked out of Doge, but he's in there long enough to get your information and share it with Palantir. I don't know if that's true, but all those things were happening, starting to share the information about all this type of stuff. Then he made his exit because people wanted him the hell out, right? We don't want you in our information. But he was in there long enough to probably take whatever he needed. Because Trump is... Listen, I want you, before I play this video, if they're both this, they always make this hand signal, that means they belong to Freemasonry, which is just Satanism. They've both been doing this their entire lives. They did not meet by chance. It was supposed to happen. I said this and I made a predictor, and that predictor is coming true. I'm not a prophet, but it's talking, anyone speaking about the Bible, sharing the Bible, talking about the things of God and Revelation is a prophet. That is the real meaning of some are prophets, some are. It's just we're talking about the Bible, what is. I don't prophesy things ahead of time. I can make predictions. I can say, I bet this will happen, and that's what I said about this, and it's happening. I said, so all of a sudden there was some type of spat between the Antichrist and the false prophet. Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And then you even hear him, like he's the Twitter files, right? He's like, I got information on you, and that's where we learn about the Epstein. That he's right at the top of the list. So, because I can't see what's written in there, but I've heard the things that Trump has said about women and young girls and his own daughter. He's on the top. Why do you think those people went there? Because they're all, the name. But you still support him. That is the most likelihood. But I can't judge. The only thing I can judge of that is that all those people are associated with that. That doesn't look good. So I know I'm saying I'm going to play this video, but I got to explain. So I said, this isn't a real fight. He's saying Trump is a pedophile. That's what he's saying. He's saying Trump is a pedophile. He's on the top of the list. All of a sudden, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, man. Oh, he's gonna get caught now. Now the Epstein list, and we're gonna break it wide open on him." So what did I say when this happened? I said it right from the start. You can look back at my videos. I make a lot of videos. This isn't real. A house divided itself shall not stand. They are not divided against one another. They're in the same thing. So, let me take a sip. I'm going to play this. This is, what's his name? Sam Harris. Sam Harris. I actually did a video debating him on my own, correcting the things that he's saying to show that the Bible is true. But he says some good things. Pardon me, and then I'm going to play this. Is this AI? Good question, right? I don't think so. But let's play this because I expected this type of thing anyways. I can't see because it's shorts. I don't like YouTube shorts because what's the point of just talking for someone for 10 seconds? At samharris.org. So I don't know, but just listen, okay? I'm going to have to refresh this. Listen carefully.
Here's somebody who went to war with Trump, calling him a pedophile, effectively, in so many words, basically saying this man is criminally culpable for his entanglement with Jeffrey Epstein. That's why these files haven't come out, and they're going to come out and destroy him, right? He took as hard a swing as possible at the character of the president. He's offered absolutely no rational accounting of how his opinion of Trump has changed, and yet now he's back just begging him for attention and favor. Clearly, he isn't made sick by this process. He doesn't even see that it's done anything to his reputation, right? He's just operating. If I were going to suddenly change my tune on Trump and not have to acknowledge why, just start praising Trump and wanting to be his friend, and just imagine that. Imagine that in front of my audience, just like, okay, like I'm all full MAGA now. Trump is the greatest president we've had, but there's nothing to account for. I mean, it's just, here's somebody who went to war with Trump, calling him a pedophile, effectively, in so many words, basically saying this man is criminally culpable for his entanglement with Jeffrey Epstein. That's why these files haven't come out, and they're going to come out and destroy him, right? He took as hard a swing as possible.
So there it is. And whether that's fake or not, I don't believe that's fake at all. That goes to show, what does that show? Does that show that people like him or Zuckerberg are those types of people? When a new administration comes in, do they swing to the left, to the right? They just swing to whatever way is good for them. In this case, I believe this is completely different. I believe this was set up from the beginning. And, I ask myself, with something so serious, as we live in a society where they're saying a man is a woman is a man, you can call yourself anything, where it used to be like 1 in 5,000 people were trans. Now it's, like 1 in 50 or something like that. I don't know. It's just really, really high, okay? That when they put that out there, that he's right? And Elon, and Musk says it to such a degree that I'm going to go nuclear. I'm going to make my own party. I'm going to, like that type of stuff. I wonder if they're trying to normalize it. Because Satanists do what thou wilt. These kinds of people accept that. Do you understand? Do what thou wilt. We will not judge you for the things you do. They're the very opposite things of God. They cause things like SAR, SRA, satanic ritual abuse. All these people who are in these groups and behind Hollywood on all these things have some form of trauma. And, I don't believe you can sell your soul to the devil. That belongs to God. But I believe you can sell your soul to a degree. I believe these people are all traumatized. And they've got something on them that they don't want known. Very few and far between you see someone ever come out from Hollywood like Mel Gibson or something like that. Or Jim Caviezel, right? In any case, what else was I going to say? What I'm saying is I knew this was going to happen, and I told you guys, you watch, they will start speaking again. After something so vile like that. If he is a pedophile, which he's on the top of that list, all of those people, then what are you doing? This is the evil we're living in right now. It's crazy. So here's one of the stumbling blocks I believe people are having right now about believing that the man is filling every single prophet. You know what really bothers me is people that are saying Jared Kushner, the Antichrist, but he only shows 666 Pennsylvania Avenue, and that he's the architect of the Abraham Accords, but so is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a leader. Don't make a mistake about that. And if you look at the list on this side and that side, he's drowning Kushner in the amount of observable objective signs. And I'm sure you can measure more than, by now, attributes. There's probably at least 50. And then signs themselves off of those attributes, they've got to be in the hundreds, if not in thousands, because he says so many things every single day, and they're not good. And I'm not going over every single sign. You can look back in my videos. So what's going to happen with this 10-leader Gaza peace plan, 20-point peace plan thing? That 10 leaders are going to come out of this. And before I say this, here's the problem with people who probably live in the United States, and that's one of the stumbling blocks of not understanding that Trump is the Antichrist. Number two, so there's two things. Where did I write that down? Rome and America. Big stumbling blocks. You think that it's going to be a fourth, the fourth kingdom is going to break all the... Looking right now, look how far we are into this. We're in these accords. We're in them making a deal. They're announcing to you that there's going to be 10 leaders. We shall still see. America, Canada, sorry, not Canada, the United States, look at its buildings. They're mirrors of Rome. So is the idea of freedom and army and that type of stuff. The United States is the one that can break apart in pieces all of the others. Here's another idea. So where do you think they extended themselves? Look at their buildings. They're mirror buildings. Do you think that's just by coincidence? And then the founding fathers, they said, and I saw yesterday in an article, no, there was a video, someone who was reading about many of the founding fathers and people writing about them, saying that this was the new Rome, that was the new Rome. And the idea spread, that is the new Rome. Do you know, when I was suffering with a huge amount of pain, with adhesive, I had multiple intractable pain disorders, as I still do. But it was it was when I was fading away into nothing. And no one was giving me a diagnosis, and I had a very hard life at that point. And I couldn't walk. I was being pushed around in wheelchairs. And I went to a hospital out in the country because it was the only one that was not busy at the time. They gave me a ketamine infusion, into my veins, intravenous. And I had spent a lot of my time watching about war, learning about World War II, all the wars, but mainly World War II, World War I, and Vietnam War. And I knew a lot about weapons. I knew a lot about the armies and the battles. And ketamine, they have to give you benzodiazepines concurrently with them because they cause visions. Ketamine does, or it can. It's a dissociative drug. All of a sudden, I went into a vision of America trampling the earth. I don't share this much, but it happened. I was on a surgical table. I was on a stretcher in a surgical room with one woman who was an anesthetist. I can't say that right now. An anesthetist. She was like 80 years old. And it was just me and her. And it was a 2-hour infusion. and I freaked out, and she had to come and give me more benzodiazepines. I saw it. I'm not saying that's it, but I had a vision of that. That America was going to take over the earth. Isn't that crazy? I never talk about that. Let me pace, guys, my abdomen. This is very interesting, though. Why wouldn't I be talking about the end times? Because that means that the day of me meeting all of you guys in the kingdom of heaven is soon. Like, is it going to be less than 1,000 days? Let's just say it's 1,000 days. I'm not going to see you long from now. And in that period of time, we could be killed at 100 days, 200 days. Who knows how it happens? Maybe God will be good to us in some way. And then there's Apophis. With everything else in place, people want to say, what you're saying is false. But all I'm looking at is something that's already present, that's been here since 2004 that we've known about. Apophis, the serpent god of destruction and chaos of Egypt. And I'm not going through those numbers. Go look back in my videos. So people who want to, be a judge, right? Just because I see those things coming, it's quite obvious to me when everything else is happening. Why is that crazy? Pardon me. You know what? At 47 years old, I'm old enough to remember people in the 1980s, even in the early 90s, driving around in their cars with signs on it saying the end of the world is near. Do you remember those people? I saw that at least 5 different times. They were right. In the scheme of time, they were right. 30, 40 years ago, they were right. I'm going to pace here, guys, and see what else I have to say. I know I have more to say. Oh, yes, I do. I forgot that. Pardon me. I found it very interesting. It can feel really good when you're like in this state to pace, and then, with my abdominal pain, I have intractable abdominal pain, acute, but it's medicated, so I deal with it. I can be going through a stone and also have the gallbladder dyskinesia at the same time and the splenic flexure syndrome. And it feels, I'm trying to eat, I'm trying to get through my pain dose and eat. And I tend to eat very slowly, study, wait for the pain meds, colic meds to kick in. I can feel so horrible, like the refuse of the earth. It feels so horrible. But when I start moving and going, it's like boom, it's like it disappears. And anyways, just letting you guys know that I walk twice a day. And the reason I walk twice a day and work out in the morning every single day is to get my endorphins going. Those endorphins can ride for 12 hours. It's like a free painkiller. Why would you not, right? I'm going to pace once more. I don't have any particular order when I do these things. Isn't that, we're looking at this, 10 Kings is coming? What? Wow, to those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. Why wouldn't I be talking about these things? They're exciting, man. And, one of the hardest things in all of this is don't let your heart grow cold. Do not let your heart grow cold. You see so much stuff on the internet. You see violence and, don't partake in as much as you just don't lose heart, because we see the end approaching. And what a day that will be. There's a lot of evil on this earth. Boy, has it ever. What's happened with the governments, man? the governments around the world, they've become, they want to control you. They want to take things away from you. They want to test you. And, you know, you look at the outer shell of this, and you can't see the inner of it. And the inner is Satan's eyes. It's all Satan. I think you'd find this very interesting. Is this true? Now, this could just be all part of the plan and why things are happening the way they are. This is interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen the video of a Russian guy. I think he's talking in the 80s or something. And he's talking about how communism will search to divide the West, because the reality is that China and Russia, even together, could not defeat the United States. And, you know, it's not about manpower. It's about nuclear weapons. It's about the Navy. And, you know, you look at China and you look at their Navy and look, oh, they have more ships and stuff. They don't have ships like the States does, like the deep water type of ones, even though they're trying to make them. They're different. The quality really does matter in these cases. They knew they couldn't defeat, so yeah, nuclear weapons can defeat, but, you know, no one wants to do that. And there's this man talking, and he's saying everything. He's probably from the KGB, and he's probably, you know, it's after communism fell. Maybe it's 1990. Anyways, if you've seen this video, you know what I'm talking about. He details everything that they will do to infiltrate. So if we can't win militarily, which we can't because you have so much money, you have the scientists, it's free. In a free society, people are able to think, they're able to build better weapons and better management and stuff. That we have to get in your minds. Is this not the conditioning type thing that Pavlov guy? We will get into your churches. We will get to your children. And I'm not going to, you understand, we'll get in your movies, we'll get in all the propaganda and everything, and we'll win that way. We can't win right now when it's 1980, 1990, but we have a plan that will probably take 40 years. The question is, did they look so far ahead and that they paid someone like Donald Trump? I'm not saying this is true, but it is out there. Did the communists get to Donald Trump? Did they get to him? I don't know what the answer is to that. These are things I heard, and because I'm well aware of communism and war, it's not impossible. Look at all the things they're allowing to happen. He's a king. He's a dictator. I'm thinking out loud. I'm not prophesying. I'm not doing all of that. Isn't that interesting? And that one of their old flags for the communist flag is the 7 continents, right? I forget how that goes. Is it the stars or they have more than one flag? But do you think the communists gave up? Just look at what's happened. Women, priests, look, they've turned everything on its head. And you're going to say, well, no, it's the devil. It's not the communist. Are they not the same thing? Is that not the plague of the earth? Look at what they've done. Look at China. Look at Russia. So I just heard people saying stuff like, it's going to be China, Russia, and Trump. And look what they're doing. They're pushing away from Europe. Why? You see, as soon as he's taken his presidency, he took a hard stance against him, all of a sudden leaves him alone. I'm not going to speak more about those things that I don't truly know, okay? But it's a very interesting topic. Very, very interesting. Pardon me, I'm going to have to you, this would be 10 out of 10 right now. To me, I would call it a 9. So let me just pace and I'll see the rest of the things I want to say. Pardon me. I will, you know what I'll do in the description box? I will leave that one with the communist guy. I don't know if he's defected over to the States, but he was communist. I can find this video. I hope I don't forget to do it. I'll write it down so you can watch it yourself. Look how interesting this is. Is this not what they've done? They've got in the school systems, they've got in the churches, they've got in the government, they've gotten to the point, and look, it didn't take long to flip us around. And with social media, with the internet, that's even more. I want to get to my other topic because I have my school to do here. There's two other topics. I'm just reminding myself to put it in. I heard this yesterday on someone's video. Isn't it funny? People forget why we're so screwed up right now. Computers, phones, connectivity. It's a cancer, and it's turned this world upside down. And what people with the half full cup, they'll say, well, look at the good it does. I remember how good it was before this, and I don't want, I want to be back. I'd rather be in a world like that, right? And what was I saying to that? I don't know if I can discuss this in depth because I don't know if I can think clearly enough right now to do it. But isn't it funny how Apple, the makers of, what was it, the Macintosh computer? When I was a kid, I had Intellivision. It was one of the rarer types of video game consoles to have. Because everyone else had like Atari, but I had Intellivision. Really good. Better than Atari, I think. But my friend had a Macintosh, and there were a lot of good games on there. And I don't know, I forget if Macintosh turned into Apple. I don't know right now off the tip of my mind, but I think they're associated. The very first computer that they sold, you shall not eat of the fruit of the, of the tree of the, when your abdomen gets as bad, holy. Shall not eat of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So the apple, they take a bite out of the apple. The symbol for apple is that. It's not anything else. And they said it was just by chance that they sold the very first one for $666, $666.66, whatever. Right? And when you look at the www, World Wide Web, go look at that in the Hebrew alphabet is 666. That's what those letters represent. Man, and you think about the mark of the beast, I don't know, I'm not saying that as we have all used this stuff. You're going to hell. I'm just kidding. It'd be the lake of fire anyway. But isn't that funny that you can look at that as the beginning point? Isn't that something? That all began with them saying that. There's just one other thing I want to say. I want to read a scripture. So you think of Christmas. I want to make this very clear. I've thought back and forth in my mind about this. Should we or shouldn't we celebrate Christmas? And if I could reverse it, I would say no. Because there is pagan roots, okay? Halloween, absolutely. I do not celebrate Halloween because of all the evil surrounding it. But you think of what Paul was talking about. Everything that you do, do it to the Lord. Just remember that. And I grew up in the time, when I was anywhere from, I'd say, 15 and on. No, it was more like, I'd say 20 and on. That Christmas, every year, they would broadcast to you, this is how much Canada made, or the U.S. made this year. They would come out with the numbers and tell you. And it was always bigger, better. You know what I mean, right? Just like, your computer. Got to get a new one, got to get a new phone, got to, update this. It's not good enough. They change it and make it worse for some reason. This is what the kingdom of heaven will not be like. It will not be the newest update, all those types of things, man. I don't want to speak of what I don't know for sure, but it'll be very beautiful. We will not have to worry about time, because time is made by God. We're on a clock. We've always been on a clock. Man, I'm gonna have to recover with my abdomen. I just want to read this to you, though. Let's go to the Blue Bible. Maybe you've never heard this scripture before. This is pertaining to the Christmas tree. You've heard that. I'm sure many of you guys have heard this. So Jeremiah 10, verse 1. So this is Jeremiah 10. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are in vain. For one cuts a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen, with the axe. So very quickly, when I was a young child, I think on 2 occasions, my parents took us and our family, and so there was 6 of us. We went and we cut down a tree, and we brought it home. For the customs of the people are in vain, for one cuts out a tree of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen, with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. Wow, silver and gold, right? They fasten it with nails and with hammers. You think of the base of our things, right? Especially older ones where they would do it with nails, that it moveth not. I'll just stop there. So guys, pray for my abdomen, always, please. I'll leave that Russian guy in there. It's very, very interesting. And just like, man, you have no idea what their actual plans are. Communism is alive and well. Come to think of it, what the heck do you think has happened to Canada, to Australia, we have penetrated the cabinet. These guys are communists. They're on the top. There is no middle class. It's just the poor. You'll own nothing and be happy. That's what I have to say today, guys. Bless our Lord, for he died on a tree in much agony to reverse the order of that we should die. He had a rescue plan for us immediately. It's right in the beginning of the book of Genesis, the very first prophecy. He was going to save us right away. And that's why now, for everything he did, he didn't just do. You and I have to have faith that he is and that he can do what he said. Do you believe? And I don't like getting into those debates and arguments, who is saved and who is not saved. But I believe a person who is saved, your life is either in the process of being transformed or you are transformed. If you claim to know the Lord Jesus Christ, to know the Lord, that's what I believe. There are baby Christians who are up and coming, and if they have faith, then leave them alone, right? There's many different things you could say to that, and that's on an individualistic basis, but God bless, guys. Hey, listen, I really appreciate some of the comments you guys leave and stuff like that, and I don't claim to everything that I say to be right. Right? Isn't that just the nature of this? None of us are, we can't get everything right. I just, the things that I see happening, I just say it as it's happening. And as things change, maybe some of those views change. So, they're making a deal in the Middle East. We know it. This is a covenant. I believe it was October 13th. I believe they're going to split the land for gain. You can see that there's 10, they're going to put out 10 type of leaders. I don't know who that's going to be. I see the false prophet. I see the Antichrist. I see that Apophis coming. And the amount of time that it's coming in, it matches. How much older could Donald Trump get? And does you think he's going to live till 95? I don't. They're making such evil plans behind the scenes. They want us to be transhumanistic. They want to win the AI race. And it's just our world doesn't look good. It's falling. It is falling.